Say goodbye to these 3 mind-weakening habits. As we saw about criticism, why are we criticizing? Because we don't find a sanskar or habit to be right in the other person. Therefore, we criticize that person. Suppose there is a child who remains very silent and doesn't speak much. He is very shy and introverted. There is another child who is an extrovert and outgoing. First of all, both of them will be compared. And secondly, the quiet child will be criticized. Why is he like this? How will his future be? He just can't speak in front of anyone. I have seen such children being ridiculed. Comparison is as bad as criticism. Throughout the day, if we remember. This is a soul on a long journey who has now come to my house. But this soul who has come to my house has carried several sanskars with him. But we believe this is my child. And we also believe the child is like a fresh and clean slate, so we can write whatever we want. Secondly, we feel this is my child. If he is my child, then how should he be? Should be how I want him to be. He should have all the sanskars which I have. But when we remember the truth, soul consciousness clears a lot of our problems. He is only playing the role of my child. But he is a soul. He has already carried several sanskars with him. Within a single bodily costume, the soul has several experiences, so many situations, so many sanskars, and then the soul leaves one costume and takes the next costume. There the soul gets different set of parents and different experiences. The soul creates many new sanskars. Then the soul took the 3rd costume, 4th, 5th. We don't know how many costumes the soul has already taken before this. The soul has brought so many sanskars, but we easily assumed my child should be like me. How should both my children be? Both of them should have the same sanskars. We forgot that both are souls, and both have brought different pasts. For instantly, for soul has witnessed a tragedy in the past. Suppose there was a flood, a calamity at a place. It is a tragedy where members of the family are getting separated in the floods. In that state, a soul leaves the body. Literally, that soul saw his family having to leave each other's hands, getting scattered and drawn away by water. That soul left the body in such a state. Now that soul has come into our house as a child. What was the state that soul in those final moments? Pain, fear, and losing family. Today, the child is in this house. He will have fear as a predominant sanskar. It would be a very dominant self-start. This child will cling to his parents. He will not let go of them. This child will fear darkness. He will live in a constant fear that his family members will leave him. Family members will feel what kind of a child he is and why he is such a coward. How could my child be like this? He can't be my child. He must have got exchanged in the hospital. I can see such a difference between my sanskars and his sanskars. But as soon as I remember, he is a soul. I don't know what sanskars he has brought with him. If we criticize or ridicule him now, the child already has the sanskars of fear and pain. Sanskar of pain will increase if we ridicule and criticize the child. Few days ago, I met a mother who has a 5 or 6-year-old son. She said he is super intelligent and is way above everyone else in the class. She said she doesn't know how he could be so intelligent because no one else in her family is like that. He has already learnt 4 languages and generally grasps everything immediately as soon as he reads. His catching power is so good that he just has to read one and everything gets memorized. I told her that he is a soul who has carried past sanskars. Then she said there is a big problem that he is very scared of water. They just cannot get him to near the swimming pool at all. She said no matter how much we motivate him, and tell him to get other children younger to you who are swimming fearlessly. Even if we forcibly take him near a pool, he runs away. One day I literally slapped him in front of everyone and scolded why he is so scared. This is turmoil and very painful for the child. When the child has so much intelligence which other children don't have, that time the parents will not raise any questions. But in this case, when you see other children swimming, you are questioning why he cannot do it. It could also be because of a past sanskar. So when we remember only this much, that the soul has brought sanskars from the past, our role is to heal the soul. Give so much love so that the sanskar gets healed. To protect the child, never compare him with other children. When we compare one soul with another soul, we have forgotten that both have carried different pasts. Suppose one soul was in a metro city or in America in the past lifetime. The other soul lived in a very small village. The upbringing, culture, personality, and food habits will be completely different for both of them. These 2 souls come to my house as children. They have come in the form of a brother and sister or as two brothers. Now parents will start wondering why there is so much difference between the two. Throughout the day, we will be comparing one LD with the other. We need to motivate and empower the child without comparing with the other child. Because the sanskar of comparison becomes so strong. Because today, no matter what age we reach, we are still competing and comparing with each other. I have noted that when siblings are often compared, they start hating each other at some point. What happens is the soul who comes first of the first child in the house. That soul receives attention of the entire family. Everyone's world will revolve around that child. By the time that child turns 2 or 3 years old, the next child comes into the family. It becomes quite difficult for the elder child. No one explains, and the child cannot understand what is happening at home. That elder child understands only one thing. Whatever was mine for the entire day now belongs to someone else. And that is my parents' love and attention. I used to get it 24 hours a day, and today this person is getting it. Initially, until the child gets an understanding. The elder child will not like the sibling much. The child feels, because of you, I have lost my rights of getting love and attention from everyone at home. So sibling rivalry can set in at very initial stages. It is also the parent's responsibility to introduce the new soul to the other soul and create a balance, and create an understanding. As you said, when we compare one person with another, we say to one person, look at how well that person is doing it. When we repeatedly tell someone to look at how well the other person is doing something, what is the message being conveyed? That he or she is better than you. When a child receives this message, the child will not just perceive that he or she is better than me. The child will also perceive that my parents love him or her more than they love me. This becomes more painful. Comparison becomes more painful because the underlined message which it gives. When we keep saying, look at how well he is doing it. You should also do that way. Some children in our society come and tell me, my parents don't like me. They like my brother. It is so deep. And why does that child feel they like my brother? Because he is being appreciated. And I am being told that I am not as good as him. Now the parent can spend an entire lifetime explaining to that elder child that they love both the children equally. He will not believe it, because it has become so deeply ingrained from a young age that the sibling is better. Even for the younger child, it is not very good because he will create superiority complex, and the elder child will create inferiority complex. We need to treat both the souls as individuals. If one child has sanskars of shyness, fear, and introversion, we need to consider that child individually without comparing with anybody. Today, we are not just comparing between brothers and sisters. We compare with just about anyone, neighbor, relative, even a stranger. We need to consider the individual and say, you have so and so specialities. Now you need to work on this sanskar, without saying, look at that person. If we say that line, the message is conveyed that you are lower than someone else. If we heal only the individual and tell him he has so and so specialities, whenever we need to tell someone about their weakness, to anyone and not just a child, if they need to change their sanskar, tell them about their specialities first. This is a must. If we don't do it, changing sanskars will not be very easy for them. If we tell someone only about their weakness, you are like this, you are like that, then the soul goes down internally in power. When the soul power has crashed, sanskar cannot be transformed, whether it is a child or an adult. Even at office, if you need to tell them about their weakness, first tell them about their specialty. By highlighting their specialities, we increase their soul power, which means when you have to get a big task done by somebody, for instance, you want them to transform their sanskar, you need to first prepare them to take up the task. Elevate their state to such a high level, not by lying but by stating the truth. Highlight all their specialities and virtues, and elevate the state of that soul, and tell them, you have so many specialities. If you just change this one sanskar in you, how great would it be? That soul will be ready to do. Now they have got the power and motivation to do. They will do it. But we don't forces on specialty of a person. We don't appreciate speciality. We take their speciality for granted. We take them for granted, and also, we have got habituated to criticism, comparison, and ridiculing people. We need to change these habits. Today, if we just take up this little thing, whether with our children, other family members, or staff, have we called them and told them about their speciality? Forget other people, we don't even acknowledge our own specialities. We never part our own back and say that I have done a good job today. Unless we appreciate, as you said last time, there will be no fuel in the vehicle. Without adding fuel if you ask the vehicle to do this and that. How is it possible? Fuel for transformation. The more we APR. Satiate the other person because everyone has many specialities. The more we highlight the specialties, the soul will get more empowered. The more we highlight their weakness, we make the soul weaker. Today, even if we want to highlight someone's speciality, we just say it in one line. But if we have to tell them their weakness, we will explain in detail. Let's do it other way around. Let us tell their specialities in detail. And after all that, gently tell them the change they need to create in just one line. Because the other person doesn't need gyan about their weakness. They already know what their weakness is. I have seen sibling rivalry in families to such an extent. And also about comparison. This family had a reunion where all the brothers and sisters together argue with their elderly mother aged 80 years about she favoring somebody else, giving more attention to someone, and so on. The mother has done so much for all the children, and at this age you are fighting with her. But we also don't forget what happened. That is why I say that whether it is parents or teacher sibling who made the mistake of comparing or criticizing, after you reach a certain age, can you still not forgive your mother? It can happen if there is understanding and realization. Otherwise, the emotional wound has not healed. Then what about all the good things which your mother did? Everyone does good things, and parents do all the more good things. But what are the things that we tend to remember? We remember that they had scolded us or beat us. It is not just for parents, but generally also. My parents scolded me in front of my friends. Why? Because the good things you did for me. They were good, and I appreciate and acknowledge it. But when you criticized or did something wrong because of which I got wounded emotionally, the soul got wounded. I felt hurt. I went into pain, and that wound has still not healed. Look at it physically. You have given me a lot of gifts in my life. You have given me gifts every day, and I have accepted all of them. I am grateful also that you have given me so many gifts. But in one instance, you hit me very hard. So the gift you gave are anyway with me. But when you hit me, I got wounded. The wound has not healed. Neither have I healed it, nor has anyone else helped me to heal it. Unless the wound gets healed, it will trouble me. Now, if someone asks me why don't I remember the gifts I got, I do have the gifts. But it is the wound which is troubling me. Gifts are there. They are not hurting me. I acknowledge them and I am grateful for them. And sometimes we also feel we are entitled to the gifts anyway. We may think that way, but even otherwise, the wound really hurts. All your gifts are there, but the wound that got created. You mentioned that the children are old now and still they talk that way to their mother. Only the body has grown old. The mind, which is the inner child, is still the same. It is the same mind which had cried when the bodily age was 4 and you had hit at the age of 6. Is the same mind in front of which you had given the siblings more of certain things. The wound created at that time, its pain has still not healed. No matter how big or old the bodily costume grows, the emotional wound cannot heal by itself. It doesn't get healed by intelligence or knowledge. It gets healed only with spiritual wisdom. We say, they have so many degrees now, yet look at how they talk. It has no connection with their emotional wound. Today, they may be having grandchildren, but their emotional wound has still not healed. This is we need to pay attention that our words should not hurt anyone. If they are hurting, immediately try to heal their wound. Also, we can check ourselves to see there is any unhealed emotional wound. Let us heal ourselves. Otherwise, the wound will become more chronic. It will not get healed by itself. We have to heal it with the understanding. If my parents had scolded, abused, or even raised their hand on me, I need to tell myself at least one line. Their intention was very pure. They did not do anything wrong to me intentionally. I felt hurt at that time because I didn't have the understanding at that time. But today, I have the understanding. This is me talking to myself and hearing my own wound. I need to heal, otherwise I can live this lifetime and many, many lifetimes with that wound. Their intention was right, but their method might not have been right. Suppose you give me a very good gift, but you did not give me the gift nicely. Maybe you just rudely thrust it into my hand. I felt bad. Maybe I said, "Take this gift and hold it carefully. You always keep talking things, but be careful this time." Even if I had created an emotional wound that day, today I need to create the understanding. You gave me a very good gift, just that you had not paid attention while giving it to me. You criticized me, but what was your intention at that time? This is the process of healing the self. All the pain that we have held on to for years, it has to finish. Another understanding that we can create now. We could not have created it when we were young, but we can create it now. Suppose there is a parent soul, and then there are 4 children, WW. It means 4 souls. We feel they are parent and children, so the parents should have the same relationship with every child. That is not possible, because each of those 4 children has a past karmic account with the parent. That is it. One soul might have come to take revenge on the mother for something in the past. Another might have come to serve and offer gratitude to her. All the 4 children will have different karmic accounts with the mother. This is very important to remember. That soul playing the role of mother or father will have the same relationship today as parent and child with all the 4 children. But if we look at the bigger picture, that soul who is a parent will have a different karmic account with each of 4 the children. This is very important, and we can use it to do our healing. We often feel, my parents love my brother more. They love my sister more. They do more for my siblings, and they listen more to my siblings. Even here, spirituality teaches us that the parents, souls, have a different karmic account with my siblings, which is different from what they have with me. So if I think that one of my family members said something unpleasant to me, it was because of my past karmic account with them. Then your healing will happen. Otherwise, you will hold on to the wound. But it is difficult to think that way because what has happened is a fact. Nothing is unfair. But most important is when the relationship is the same. For example, between parent and children. Usually we cannot understand why a parent seems to favor my sibling more than me. We need to remember that we have a karmic account. I know a couple whose parents live with them. The husband has a brother, so they are 2 brothers. The parents stay with this couple, elder son and his wife. That couple does a lot for his parents. They take extremely good care and serve them very lovingly. But the parents like the other son more. They like whatever he says and they find him to be right all the time. It is the elder son and his wife who do everything. But the parents like the younger son more. So as per the karmic account, the elder son and his wife were to serve. Younger son was to receive appreciation. This we have to always remember. These people are serving and the other sibling is getting the fruits. The one who is serving will also need to remember. I have this kind of a karmic account with them of several lifetimes. I have come here now to serve them. If I am not getting credit, that is also a part of my karmic account. If my sibling is getting credit without doing anything for them, that is according to the karmic account he has with them. Then we will not raise question marks. For us not to raise questions, it is important for the wound to heal. Otherwise, every day we can create a thought. I do so much, but still he gets all the credit. And he told me also, this is not new to me. Today, I am 50 years old. This has been happening since childhood. My parents have favored my brother since childhood. I don't know what they will write in the will. We don't know because that is also a karmic account. Understanding that we are souls and understanding of the karmic accounts give us a lot of answers in life. It's very interesting. And if we understand it, then you were mentioning about being love. Being love becomes easy, because our love will not get blocked by any other energy. Only when we have the energy of questions. Why did they do this? Why are they treating me like this? How could my brother do so? Even if brothers and sisters are fighting today, although they are adults. Actually, they are not a brother and sister. They are 2 souls. They have come in the relationship of a brother and sister now. It has become very clear now, but we have no time left. So let us continue in the next episode.